The rising pop artist David, aka David Anthony Burke, has officially been arrested in connection with the homicide of a 14-year-old girl. Dating back to 2024, he was linked to this underage girl romantically, and given the fact that he has a song called Romantic Homicide, this was a 14-year-old, he would have been around 19 at the time. I think we can see a million red flags that should be going off in everyone's minds. Welcome back to the channel, neighbor. My name is John. We need to talk about this unfolding David situation. I want to go through the entire timeline dating back to 2024 and the 14-year-old who was eventually murdered's mother, confirming the fact that she was dating someone named David. As of April 16th, 2026, David has officially been arrested in connection to the murder of the teen that was found. Everything is adding up to quite literally romantic homicide.
You died, and I didn't even cry.
That's the title of one of David's most popular songs. I mean, this guy was kind of everywhere. He had a song in the Invincible soundtrack called Feel It that was a huge hit, and as a big fan of Invincible, I enjoyed the song. I enjoyed a few of David's songs in general, but now it just feels like, oh my God, was that a confession? I don't mean to make light of that in any way. It's just that it kind of irks me that in all cases it feels like we could never use lyrics. I understand that there's been a precedent set. There was even a court case back in 2022 that says California specifically passed a law designed to protect an artist's First Amendment rights to freedom of speech and expression. And of course, since this occurred in California, it seems like there's very little chance that they will actually be able to use his lyrics on a track like Romantic Homicide against him. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's trace it back to the beginning, starting with a missing person report for the girl that David was reportedly dating, confirmed by her mother. We're talking about Celeste Rivas Hernandez, who was only 14 at the time of her disappearance. I'm sorry, it's actually even worse than I thought. She was only 13 when she went missing in April 2024. It's just like my mind doesn't even want to process that. It just keeps getting younger. And clearly, David was like 18, 19 years old, already involved with a minor this young. It's incredibly sketchy behavior, to put it lightly. Any relationship like this is going to have a massive power imbalance, especially when you have somebody as prominent, as famous as David, pulling in all of these fans, monthly listeners, sold out tours. And of course, that can be attractive to a young person, especially if maybe their favorite artist starts talking to them. I'm not sure how David and Celeste's relationship began, but it was inappropriate, and I really wish that somebody had intervened before this tragic outcome. That the poster even says, last seen wearing gray pants and a black sweater, a hat, and Hello Kitty sandals. This is a literal child we're talking about here, barely a teenager. LAPD finds body inside impounded Tesla that's registered to singer David. Of course, this is his car. This was reported in September of 2025. That's when the news broke to the public, despite this allegedly taking place a decent amount before this. David's car was found in a lot in Hollywood. It had just been sitting there, like quite literally just collecting dirt and grime, and somebody eventually reported a foul odor coming from it, and the police investigated, got into the trunk, and they find the body of a missing girl, later confirmed to be Celeste Hernandez. Authorities said human remains were found in the front trunk of course, the front trunk. I forget that it's a fucking Tesla. Thanks, Elon. Which is registered in Texas to David, real name David Anthony Burke. A huge smoking gun came our way with the report about a week after the initial breaking news. September 17th, 2025, we see a report that David reportedly has tattoo on finger like one on dead 15-year-old found in his towed Tesla. Apparently this guy's out getting matching tattoos with underage girls and just branding her. It's another power dynamic thing like I'm talking about, I'm sure. So they find that he's got a tattoo that matches the one that was on her finger, on the decomposing remains, and dismembered also. Just absolutely cruel stuff. I can't imagine what she must have gone through in those last days, in those last moments, and who knows how long they had her just like bound, gagged, or kept somewhere, dating back to her being missing in April of 2024. Romantic homicide is starting to sound less and less like just a fantasy that he had and more like something that he actually played out possibly in real life. David seems to also have some sort of unhealthy obsession or fixation on blood. It shows up throughout his music videos, Romantic Homicide being a major one, but also One More Dance, featuring him in a bloody shirt, the shirt of which he went on to sell. And you could see it in the thumbnail for this video. He's selling the shirts with blood. He was, obviously, it was pulled when, you know, the murder stuff came out. Tell me you're 1,000,000% guilty without telling me. Come on. Earlier this year in February, more information started coming out about the case as court documents revealed new details in Celeste Rivas' murder case, saying that newly unsealed documents filed in Texas show that LA County prosecutors demanded the testimony of singer David's father, mother, and brother to come and speak in person and give testimony as they investigate the murder and dismemberment of the 14-year-old or 15-year-old, I'm seeing conflicting reports here, of Celeste. It seems like all of the recent reports are confirming that Celeste was 14 years old at the time of the murder, and they're alleging also that the body had been in there for a considerable amount of time, rotting inside the Tesla. I wonder what his family are gonna break out on his behalf, like, oh, he's just a promising young man, or he has such a bright musical future ahead of him. This all leads us to April 16th, where it's revealed that David's finally been arrested in the murder of the teen found dead in his Tesla. The child's decomposing body was discovered on September 8th of 2025. God knows how long she had just been left there, completely alone and abandoned and isolated yet again in an abandoned Tesla registered to David, and it had been parked there for more than a month. It all just seems like a crock of shit and kind of a joke when it comes to the justice system and the way that the legal processes here in America work. But with her body being found September 8th, and David not getting arrested till mid-April of this year, that is a long gap. And it's like, what more evidence do you need to see at this point? It's like blood red hands are all over it and continue to be all over it. The imprint is obvious. We can't forget that David didn't immediately cancel his tour. He was literally playing a show like the night that this broke, and people are still just out there. And if this all turns out to be true, or that he's involved in some major way, it's like, what kind of whiplash does that leave you with as a fan that was there for those nights? And also, what does that say about the singer's lack of conscience? The fact that he's still just going out there playing and performing to tens of thousands of people like it's nothing, like he's not being alleged as a murderer. Weird that after police searched his house last September, all of his live events were suddenly canceled and the collabs are done and no deluxe edition of the album either. And it seems a little strange to me that the timing on that, it's almost like they uncovered some massive amounts of evidence, allegedly. Obviously, it's still alleged as to exactly what went down with David and the murder, and there may be other suspects, maybe other people in his circle that end up coming forward. We'll have to see what the trial and court process is like, but I feel like it's gonna be a media circus, and I really hope it isn't, for the sake of the Hernandez family. At the time of recording this video, David still has more than 20 million monthlies on Spotify. It's going to be interesting to see if that gets affected and to see if DSPs start de-playlisting him even more or start shadow banning his music or something along those lines. I guess some good news to end on is that David is currently being held in prison without bail. That probably won't last very long. It's unbelievable to think that David or whoever else may have committed this murder are thinking that they can just get away with this and leave a body in a trunk somewhere. How negligent can you be? Especially if you're committing a crime of that nature, you're just gonna leave it rotting in a lot in Hollywood? I don't know, guys. It's extremely disheartening stuff. I want to know what you think. Let me know in the comments down below. You can check out some of my recent content here on screen. My thoughts are going out to the family at this time, the victim, and I'm hoping for some sense of justice in the coming weeks, months, or years.